History has been made, guys. The Penrith Panthers have come out with the 4 PEAT. The first time it's been done in the NRL era. The last time it had been done by the early days of the Dragons. Incredible job from the Penrith Panthers. That incredible system. 14-6 against the Melbourne Storm side that was so valiant. But all the early work that the Penrith Panthers did in this game really paid dividends towards the end of this game. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on. The controversial calls in this game as well. But also just the big moments in this game that the Penrith Panthers held on to win the game. 14-6. So, guys, I will also preface before we get into this video, I'm currently watching live. I don't know who the Clive Churchill is just yet. My little early prediction before we get through this video would be maybe Liam Martin. I thought he was incredible in this game. There's a couple of names that you could throw their hat up there. I thought Paul Alamonte was absolutely incredible. I thought Isaiah Yeo really brought it home. Obviously, Nathan Cleary steering the ship. Dylan Edwards just tirelessly just working and working and working. Taruva was incredible. There's a lot of really big key members that I put out there, but I do think Liam Martin probably will come out ahead just watching all these celebrations currently right now, so I'm not too sure just yet. But overall, guys, I want to go through my thoughts overall before the game. I thought Melbourne were going to be good enough to get it done against the Penrith Panthers, but egg all over my face. Never count out a champion side, a team that has just been building for this moment. When they come to the big moments, they really show up on the big stage. And really, the way they play their football is so incredible to see out there because it's simplistic, but it's also done so well. And we're about to talk about all those little statistical areas as well, while currently watching a little, obviously the little post-match going on over here. So touch on some of the statistics in this game. So 55% possession going the way of the Penrith Panthers in this one. The Melbourne Storm with 45% possession. The big key stat here, the completion rate, which was actually a key factor in this game. The Melbourne Storm, a little bit too many errors in this game. Well, too many errors in a grand final type of game and a big moment for the Penrith Panthers. 88% for the Penrith Panthers there, 79% completion rate for the Melbourne Storm in this one. Looking at run rate and all that, all the Penrith Panthers in this one, a fairly dominant grand final victory, even though late on in that second half, it actually started to come the way of the Melbourne Storm. But the way that the Penrith Panthers started out this game, even though going down 6-0 early with the Harry Grant, a little bit of deception into rush. Just the early work of the Penrith Panthers, they put the Melbourne Storm on their line. They just keep peppering. And it may not pay dividends earlier for that one. And I think we're just seeing, I think it's Liam Martin ends up getting the Clive Churchill. Definitely the prediction we had there. Incredible news. Incredible game from him, guys. We will talk about that a little bit more later on. But overall with the stats, as we were saying before, just the early work that the Penrith Panthers have done, they were up on all these stats in the first half here. All of it can't pay dividends later on in the game. And that's really how their game plan plays out. They're such a conservative, but also a very ruthless side, or football side. They know when they turn up their defense in moments, the amazing interchange moments from Ivan Cleary. There was a moment just out of halftime where I felt like the Penrith Panthers were just falling away a little bit. Then Moses Leota, bang, the injection of him back onto the field. And even with big moments, obviously Brian Toto going down with a knee injury, going off the field, and the Penrith Panthers still held in solid. The kicking raid going to Xavier Coates' side, who Xavier Coates had an incredible game for the Melbourne Storm as well. Like, the Penrith Panthers just kept turning up. And that's why I also thought Paul Alamonte in his first grand final, incredible. And especially to take over the shoes of someone like a Stephen Crichton, who, I know Isaac Tungo would have played on that same sort of edge as well, but I thought that Paul Alamonte really stepped up as the Stephen Crichton type in his grand final, had a lot of massive moments. Obviously, the try scoring situation in the corner. Not saying he's Stephen Crichton, no way, shape, or form, but before this game, I would have thought that someone like Stephen Crichton, I think this was the moment where we were supposed to see that one of those players that maybe one too many pulled out of that Penrith Panthers lineup, but egg all over my face again. Incredible game, guys. So we'll just run through a little bit of the play-by-play, the way this game sort of sorted out. So starting off really early on, obviously I did touch on before, Harry Grant hitting with the first try of the match, the 6-0. The Melbourne Storm were definitely put under a little bit of pressure, and that was a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel there from Harry Grant just to put him a little bit ahead. But shout out to the Penrith Panthers. As soon as that happens, they fire straight back. And I think that's a classy side of the Penrith Panthers. They always keep the other side on arm's length. They never let them go too far out because they want to know that in the big moments they'll get there. And you can just see the stamina of the Melbourne Storm just slowly get dragged out of them. There was big moments from those back three, especially Xavier Coates. And I thought Will Warbrick was incredible as well, trying to do the work out of the back end. And you saw later on in the second half, Xavier Coates had some nice big moments in there, but definitely the energy had got brought out, and especially in their halves as well later on when they couldn't make the decisions. I felt like Melbourne were starting to wrestle back momentum mid into this first half, and then Brian Toto, a massive moment in there, probably a good 10 to 15 meter run, really get the Penrith Panthers back on the front foot. topped off with a Liam Martin try a little bit later on down the set there. Nathan Cleary getting on the outside of Sean Bloor and putting Old Munster on the island. Really, you know, we had Jack Howarth on the opposite side in 2 minds, and really Munster was caught out in the island. That's where Liam Martin really made him pay. I felt like, you know, this is where the moment when the Melbourne Storm needed to just clean up all those errors in the game. I did think that before halftime, I thought the Melbourne Storm had a little bit of an uptick of, like, you know, 5 minutes before halftime. I felt like there was a little bit of moments there, and noticing a lot of Isaac Tungo's body language on that side, I thought the Melbourne Storm were really going to attack that side with venom in the second half. And, like, you know, just talking about a couple of key players in this first half, I'm pretty sure Eli Katoa had a massive try-saving tackle in this first half as well. A lot of big moments for Eli Katoa, and I would have said that if the Melbourne Storm got away with a victory in this game, I would think that Eli Katoa definitely would have been the spearhead of that, because he had a lot of great moments. He was bouncing off tackles left, right, and center. He was absolutely incredible out there. And for a Warriors fan to see what that man has become, incredible, incredible work. So now, guys, we're moving on to the second half. Coming out of the second half, this is where I did believe that the Melbourne Storm came out and they looked like they were going to really wrestle back the momentum of this game. You know, I thought Nick Meaney was finding a lot of good moments in this one, really roaming around in the middle, finding a little bit of front foot footy in behind the ruck. I think the Melbourne Storm, you know, with Harry Grant, were really peppering in behind the ruck in these moments there. Then moving on after these moments here, there was a huge moment from Ryan Papenhuyzen with an amazing little short side raid, but incredible covered defense from the Penrith Panthers. And it just looked like the Melbourne Storm were just not finding that extra little bit of pass, that extra bit of moment to really click on the end of that. And the reason why I'd say that is when, as soon as this break happened, the only 2 men that were on that opposite side of the field was obviously Xavier Coates. They got put down the short side raid, and Ryan Papenhuyzen back in the middle. The rest of it was just all pink jerseys. They were all back there. And shout out to Isaac Tungo. I did point out in the first half, he looked very fatigued. He actually made that big tackle to really bring the Panthers back into, they set their line again. And it just showed so much fatigue that was in this Melbourne Storm side. And again, I just keep saying, these were the moments that you started to see what the game plan of the Penrith Panthers and how good they actually do it on the big stage. It just pays dividends at the end of the game. And when the Melbourne Storm started to find momentum, started to find the ball in their hands, they had no energy to do that. We hit the big moment in this game, the big decision from the bunker where Jack Howarth, I thought I saw the ball touch the ground. There has been photos that have been on Instagram that I've seen. It did look like the ball had touched the ground, but it had been overturned. Well, not overturned. It's sent up as a no try. So to overturn the no try, I would have said it would have had to do 100% away from the doubt. I do feel like that when I first watched it the first time, I went, ooh. And then a couple of more times, I think there was a backside camera angle that made it look like maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was his own arm of Jack Howarth that was holding the ball up. But then again, you see the photos online. I could probably understand why Melbourne Storm fans probably would feel a little bit robbed in that moment there too. But I would say just the way this game was going, the amount of fatigue in this game that was really set in from the Penrith Panthers, I don't know if that would have been a moment to really sway it back into Melbourne's favor to really bring it home. As I did say, when they had big moments in this game to really bring it home, like they just couldn't get over the edge. And I feel like with that moment would be massive, but to me, like, you know, the way the Penrith Panthers were putting it on the front foot, I really felt like they probably would have found the moments later on. But then again, that's just me talking in hindsight. Maybe that could have been the big cliff, like, you know, the big swing of momentum for the Melbourne Storm. I'm not too sure. So take that as you will. Make sure you comment down below your thoughts on that decision there too. Now, moving on to the big moments to put the nail in the coffin in this game, we have Liam Martin out jumping Xavier Coates, coming down with the ball, putting it off to Moses Leota. As I did say before, amazing interchange there from Ivan Cleary. Moses Leota back on the field, passing it out to Paul Alamonte on the sideline. Bang, Paul Alamonte goes in to score a try. And as I did touch on before, I really did think this was an amazing game for Paul Alamonte. I thought he was running with a whole lot of venom. He was getting on the front foot, quick playable speeds. I thought he was really solid in this game for his first grand final one. And out of the 2 centers coming into next year, I would have Paul Alamonte over Isaac Tungo. Just the way I've just looked at Isaac Tungo playing in this final, his body language doesn't seem okay. I still think he's probably carrying injuries. Obviously, coming into the season, all the news stories about him not going for surgery, stuff like that. I don't know if you want to put too much food into thought for that, but he just looks a little bit underdone. He looks a little bit unfit at the moment, but then again, just an unfit Isaac Tungo still had some moments in this game, as I did say, that covered defensive tackle. So maybe that just could be just from my eyes. I'm not too sure, but I do think that Paul Alamonte's in a box seat to be be their more preferred center, and they may continue to go forward like that, especially with the amount of contract that Isaac Tungo does have. I'm not too sure how that situation will play out a little bit later on, but amazing game from him. Paul Alamonte, Liam Martin, massive moment. This is the nail in the coffin. This was the moment where it was like, okay, I feel like the air has come away from the Melbourne Storm. And to really drive home the factor of this is where a key member of the Penrith Panthers really came out on top. Shout out to Isaiah Yeo. The last 5 to 10 minutes of that game, the amount of moments in behind the ruck he had quick play to ball speed, really dragging that Penrith Panthers side to a victory in the grand final. A lot of the big key men in this game, Nathan Cleary, Jerome Luai, Isaiah Yeo, Dylan Edwards, all stood up in their moments, capped off with the Clive Churchill of Liam Martin as well. So shout out to the Penrith Panthers. What an incredible side. Guys, comment down below your thoughts overall. For PEAT is like a massive deal, especially we're talking about the salary cap era. The last time, as I said, has been done by those early days, St. George Dragons sides, not Illawarra, St. George Dragons sides. And that was no salary cap era. The game of rugby league is completely different to what it is now. Defensive systems are now coming to the game. Attacking systems have had an uptick. There's a lot more shrewd, operators in the game. Everyone's working so hard to figure out. Obviously, it's a professional game now. To do this in this stage with the salary cap era, the amount of players have been pulled out of that side, the amount of times that we've seen on Instagram, the side the Penrith Panthers have lost over the years with Matt Burton's of the world, Viliami Kickows of the world, Stephen Crichton's of the world, but all these other teams are actually having upticks with. The Bulldogs obviously are loving all those Penrith Panthers boys that are bringing in a culture over there. The Penrith Panthers just keep chugging along and they just create these players here. What's next? What's next for the Penrith Panthers? Obviously, you're going to say the 5, Pete, but what happens now, right? Who is going to be the one to take down these Penrith Panthers? I thought Melbourne were definitely in the box seat in this one, and I do think the Melbourne Storm will continue to grow, obviously bringing in Stefano Otogamanu into their side as well. And shout out also, I want a quick little shout out, Lazarus Vaalipu. He had a couple of really nice moments in this game as well. So they got a lot of young juniors coming through that are really, really strong. Obviously, we all know the Far Longos. The Melbourne Storm seem to be the box seat to really take down these Penrith Panthers. But the more you question the Penrith Panthers, whether they can't do the 5 Pete, whether they can't do the 4 Pete, whether you can't do the 3 Pete, they just continue to show up. And this is one of the best systems we've ever seen. And to any Penrith Panther fan that has just been through this and now seen the rise of what they are right now, just live it up right now as much as you could. Nathan Cleary out there, incredible moments from him. Ivan Cleary, where does this put him in the coaching debate? I understand it's so hard to really talk about these debates when they're playing football right now. They're still adding to their resume before the end of their career. If Nathan Cleary ended his career right now, where would he sit overall in halfbacks overall all time or players of all time? Where does Ivan Cleary sit in coaches of all time? We talk about the Craig Bellamy's of the world. We talk about the Wayne Bennett's of the world. And the key things to talk about here, the Melbourne Storm were the last team to stop the Penrith Panthers in a grand final, and they come back and they rewrote the wrong. Craig Bellamy was the last coach to get over the Penrith Panthers, and Ivan Cleary has rewritten that wrong. Now, what is else out there? How much can they continue to turn up and continue to really write history again? Is a 5P really up for them to really get up for the contest? They lose Fisher Harris. They lose Jerome Luai. Is this a little bit too much to bite off for the Penrith Panthers next year? But that is next year, guys. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in the future, guys. So if you enjoyed the content, please make sure you like and subscribe. Lastly, I just want to shout out my key performers overall in the game. On the Melbourne Storm side of things, really incredible Valiant performances here. Will Warbrick, I thought was absolutely incredible. Cam Munster, I thought he was really trying so hard to get this team back on the front foot. Eli Katoa, an incredible performance from him for a player that, as I said, the potential from him at the Warriors was unreal. I knew he was going to be something really special if we could get it out of him, but obviously the Warriors couldn't do that. Going to the Melbourne Storm, the system that the Melbourne Storm lay into plays, what he has become, try saving tackles is the big key areas with Eli Katoa. We all knew he could run over the top of people. He's got the offload. He's got all those sort of added pieces to his game, but the defensiveness that the defensive side of the ball that he's brought, into his game, try saving tackles I continue to speak of, is just incredible. So shout out to him. Incredible game from him. And Harry Grant. I thought Harry Grant was absolutely unbelievable. And last one, Xavier Coates. I thought Xavier Coates was amazing. Nick Meaney's of the world, even, you know, Jack Howarth in a couple of moments, I thought he looked really, really strong in contact. But over to the Penrith Panthers, obviously Brian Toto going off with a knee injury midway in that second half, but overall his work had been done. Like the first half work from Brian Toto, if he didn't come away with that massive run with that middle moments of the game where the Melbourne Storm were finding momentum, I really do feel like that could have been a big sway of momentum to the Melbourne Storm favor, and whether they could come away with points before halftime, I'm not too sure. But Brian Toto, incredible performance. Paul Alamonte, unreal. Like, unreal for his first final. I spoke about him that many times before. Nathan Cleary as well. And Suni Taruva, incredible. Liam Martin, I thought he was unbelievable. Isaiah, just guys, name the whole side. Incredible performances there, guys. But make sure you comment down below your thoughts overall, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and also keep an eye out on my channel for more videos in the future. Down Unders definitely will be around the corner on Wednesday, where me and Brody will go through this game and really dissect our thoughts overall on that, while also looking forward to the Pacific Championship. So keep an eye out on the channel. Shout out to Nathan Cleary, shout out to Ivan Cleary, shout out to that Penrith Panthers organization, shout out to Liam Martin, Clive Churchill for the grand final, guys, and shout out to you guys. All been incredible. Continue to tune into my channel. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate ya. Have a good weekend. Let's go.